The diplomatic hall of the Crethian warship Bloodmaw was not designed for comfort. Sharp angles dominated the architecture, and the lighting cast harsh shadows across faces meant to intimidate. Mira sat rigid in the human delegation's chair, acutely aware that she was the only soft-skinned biped in a room full of apex predators. The Crethians resembled massive wolves that had evolved to walk upright, standing nearly 8 feet tall with obsidian claws and teeth that could crush steel. Their fur ranged from deep grays to blacks, marked with scars that told stories of hunts and battles. Around the circular chamber, 24 of them watched her with golden eyes that reflected the dim light like mirrors. Mira's tablet trembled slightly in her hands. She was 26, a xenobiologist pressed into diplomatic service because she was the only human in this sector who had studied Crethian culture. 3 months ago, humanity had made first contact with the Crethian Pax. 3 weeks ago, border skirmishes had begun. 3 days ago, the Crethians had agreed to this meeting, but only if a single human came aboard their flagship, alone. "Your species trespasses on our hunting grounds, growled Tark the Pack Alpha from his elevated throne. His fur was silver with age, crossed by a scar that ran from his eye to his jaw. "You build your colonies on worlds we have marked. You show no respect for the ancient laws." Mira swallowed hard. "We didn't know they were marked. Our scans showed no intelligent life. Because you do not know how to look." Tark's roar silenced her. Around the room, other Crethians snarled in agreement, a chorus of growls that made Mira's hindbrain scream at her to run. "You are prey species, soft, weak. You understand nothing of strength." The word prey hung in the air like a death sentence. Mira had read the reports. The Crethians divided all species into 3 categories: predators, prey, and carrion. Predators earned respect. Prey earned nothing but contempt. Humanity's fate hung on which category the Pax ultimately assigned them. Before Mira could formulate a response, a commotion erupted near one of the side entrances. A smaller Crethian, barely 6 feet tall, pushed through, carrying something bundled in cloth. The gathered warriors parted with surprised mutters. "Elder Tark," the smaller Crethian said, bowing low. "Forgive the interruption, but the nursery keeper is ill. I have nowhere to leave the cubs during this council." Tark's eyes narrowed. "This is unprecedented. I will leave immediately." "No." Tark's voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "Stay. We will not delay this meeting. Keep the young ones quiet." The Crethian bowed again and moved to a corner of the chamber, settling on the floor. From the bundle emerged 3 small shapes, cubs no bigger than human toddlers with oversized paws and ears, their fur still fluffy with youth. They tumbled over each other with the uncoordinated enthusiasm of all young creatures. Mira felt something in her chest unclench slightly. They were adorable, terrifying certainly, with their needle-sharp teeth and claws, but also unmistakably children. The meeting resumed. Tark outlined territorial demands. Mira countered with settlement rights based on interstellar law. Back and forth they went, voices rising, tensions mounting. The Crethians grew more aggressive, standing, pacing, their agitation palpable, and through it all the 3 cubs played, their caretaker watching them with tired eyes. One cub, the smallest with gray fur and white patches, kept wandering away from its siblings. It explored the room's perimeter, sniffing at boots and chairs, while the caretaker repeatedly retrieved it. During one of Tark's more heated declarations about human weakness, the small cub wandered close to Mira's chair. She glanced down at it. The cub looked up at her with eyes that hadn't yet turned the fierce gold of adult Crethians. They were still the blue-gray of youth. It made a small chirping sound, curious and unafraid. Without thinking, Mira smiled. The cub chirped again, then did something that made the caretaker gasp. It climbed. Tiny claws found purchase on Mira's pant leg. The cub scrambled up with determination, reaching her lap in seconds. It circled once, twice, then curled into a tight ball against her stomach. A rumbling sound emerged from its small body, a purr. The room went absolutely silent, every golden eye fixed on Mira. Tark had frozen mid-sentence, his mouth still open. The caretaker stood looking stricken. No one moved, no one breathed. Mira's hands hovered over the cub, uncertain. Was this good? Bad? Would they kill her for allowing it? Her training had covered many scenarios, but alien baby falls asleep on you hadn't been one of them. The cub's purring grew louder. In her lap, it was warm and soft and utterly trusting. Slowly, instinctively, Mira lowered one hand to rest gently on its back. The cub's purr intensified. Tark rose from his throne. He descended the steps with deliberate slowness, his claws clicking on metal. Other Krathians parted before him. He approached Mira, and she forced herself not to flinch as he leaned down, bringing his massive head level with hers. His golden eyes studied her. Then the cub. Then her again. She has been chosen, Tark said quietly. Around the room, Krathians began to lower themselves, not bowing but resting on their haunches in what Mira suddenly recognized as a posture of respect. Our cubs are sacred, Tark continued, his voice carrying through the silent chamber. They are the future of the pack, and they are born with instincts we trust above all reason. They know safety from danger. They know friend from foe. He straightened, addressing the entire room. In 3,000 years of our history, a cub has never willingly sought comfort from a prey species. Mira barely dared to breathe. In her lap, the cub shifted slightly, pressing closer. Perhaps, Tark said, and something that might have been a smile crossed his scarred face. We have categorized your species incorrectly. He returned to his throne but didn't sit. Instead, he placed one clawed hand over his chest. I propose new terms, not as prey, not as predators, but as pack friends. Rare, precious, protected. The other Krathians vocalized their agreement, not snarls now, but a harmonious rumble that vibrated through the floor. Mira looked down at the sleeping cub, at this tiny creature that had somehow bridged a gulf between species that diplomacy could not. Her hand continued its gentle rhythm on its back, and she felt tears prick her eyes. On behalf of humanity, she said, her voice steady despite everything, we accept. The cub purred on.